Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
And good day, everyone. Welcome to another JK Deal Reveal. I hope you're having an amazing week, month, and year so far. Let's begin. So, first and foremost, I want to make a little announcement for everyone or anyone who was not there live last week. We hosted a special financial freedom and real estate training, right? It was a full hour long. And if you missed it, don't worry. It is on our Facebook page and group, I should say, the U.S. Real Estate Investing Club Now for Tomorrow. That's the name of our Facebook group. If you haven't seen it already, if you're not already part of the club, that's where you go. And that's where you can catch last week's training on financial freedom and real estate. What's the connection? What's the connection between retiring, cash flow, real estate, US real estate? How do those all play together? And how maybe this is a wonderful addition or diversification to your investing portfolio. That's what we talked about, and that's what you can go check out on our Facebook group, US Real Estate Investing Club Now for Tomorrow. All right, so we're going to dive right into our deal reveal for the week. All right, and what is the deal reveal? It's looking at a deal from the community that you submitted to us, to me. I don't even look at this deal beforehand. You just give me an address and a price, sometimes not even a price, just an address. This is sometimes a deal you have under contract, a deal you're thinking about putting under contract, a deal that you're just curious to see what I have to say. And with 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8 minutes, we go through and we size up this deal to see if we are following the golden rule of real estate, right? Are we buying cash flow and are we buying at a discount when and where the numbers make sense? So this week's deal is submitted by T, so thank you very much. And it is a deal in Cleveland. Look at this, $24,900. Let's go see what this is all about. 10919 Hampton Avenue. And deal or no deal, that's up to you to decide. At any point, you can give a thumbs up, send out a reaction right up in the chat, say this is a deal, this is no deal, and comment on what's happening. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Start the timer. We start off with our good friend Google. We can just copy the address right in there. And first I want to get a sense of what type of property this is and what's the value of this property. Now, why did I default to Bing? I don't know, but let's go here. We find the property on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin just to see quickly what it's about. So you see we have some pieces of wood in the windows and doors, so most likely a vacant property at this point in time. But it is a 3, 1.5, meaning it's a single family home, 1,100 square feet. And let's see if we have any pictures on the inside. The outside looks fairly good. I mean, the siding looks fairly intact. The paint is not crazy chipped. The contrasting colors, green on old white, is not too bad. So from the outside, not terrible. We're in Cleveland, so the driveway will not be needed to be replaced or forced by the city. So we're not so worried about this. Now we're on the inside. We see that definitely floors needed. There's a little bit of the ceiling on the floor, so we're estimating there's going to be some drywall repair and most likely paint throughout the house. So right out the gate, carpet or some cheap floor fix or repair and paint with drywall, we're at least at $15,000, 10, 15 right out the gate to touch. And that's just right off one picture here. But overall, yes, so you see all around, we have the paint and problems. Kitchen, not so bad. I do want to mention that we are in Cleveland, and if we're buying a property for 25, it's very unlikely we're in an area that we can do short-term rentals. And so that's why I'm thinking just long-term um, rent-ready quality on renovation here. So this kitchen could be, could be okay, could be enough. Maybe paint, but it's a blurry picture. It's hard to say. But this one needs a little bit more love, of course. Bathroom. Okay, so maybe that 15,000 will have to be increased a little bit. A new bathroom here and some walls would be nice. So quickly, I'm estimating now we're closer to the 25,000 based on what we've seen. Although this carpet looks pretty good from the pictures. Something's happening on the wall here, but we've already covered. Windows are newer. We don't know if they need to be replaced or not. Um, what else do we have? Real quick, just getting through the pictures. That full bath here just needs some love. And obviously there was something hanging right here. Extensive cosmetic work, right? Is what we see. The basement, that's definitely an older furnace. Let's add that into the mix for 30,000. This hot water tank. All right, so don't think we're getting out of this for under 30,000 at all, and that's based on the pictures. We haven't seen foundation. We haven't really seen, the humidity or if there's any water in the basement, the roof, the windows. So let's just figure at least 30. Expect more of $40,000 renovation or higher on this particular property. So how much is this property worth? Right? We have here on realtor.com the real estimate, which is 3 algorithms running at the same time, running the estimated value over time of this property. I like to look at the overall trend of the property and see is that typically real estate does increase over time. Now it does look like here it's kind of going down, but why is it going down? I'm not exactly sure. There's been no crash in the market or anything. So I like to be a little bit more on the optimistic side when I look at this trend, and I just follow the trend. And I'd say it's probably be worth somewhere about $70,000 if it was fixed up, of course. Okay, so I'm going somewhere with the expectation to be around 50 and 70, but I would most likely put a 70,000 based on the overall trend that's happening here, because it's only recently in the last year that the data is going down. And I know there hasn't been a real estate crash or anything like this. I'd be more optimistic on this. So let's say 60, 70,000, but we saw, even if we buy for 25 and we put 40 or more into it, are we buying at a discount? 25 plus 40 is 65. And if it's worth 50 to 70, are we buying at a discount? No, we're not buying at a discount. And we have a $40,000 project most likely on our hands. So not looking so great to start off here, because we are not buying with equity. We're not buying at a discount. And on top of that, we've got a pretty big project on our hand. So that's rule number one. Are we buying at a discount? Are we buying money? Doesn't look like here. Second golden rule is, are we buying cash flow? Okay, cash flow. So as I quickly mentioned, this is very unlikely to be in a short-term rental area, but let's go see what long-term numbers have to say in this area. This is a 3.5 single-family home, and this is interesting. Look at this data. This is really interesting data, actually. On the low side, apparently it's 1,200. On the high side, it's 2,200 a month. And with the average and median, this is such a huge spread. You don't see this too often. And this is why it's important to use some critical eyes and mind when you look at this data. Look at all the data that's being pulled here. We have some greens, which is the lower end of the market. We have some reds, which is the higher end of the market. And then you have the blues, which are right around the average of the market. Now, all the reds are here, which is not the same area as here at all. Even though it's a fairly general proximity, it's not the same area. We're close to Little Italy. The University Circle is right here. Okay, so we're close, but not that close. When you're in these inner city, and Cleveland is certainly no exception, you can really change neighborhoods and grade of the neighborhood within, definitely within 2 miles, but even in less than 1 mile. So if you see a huge spread like this, I would recommend you dial in your radius a little bit, okay, to see what is happening on a closer basis. And now suddenly we have 1100 to 13, 1400, and play around with it. I bet if we put in a 1 bath, although it is a 1.5, the numbers are going to change. It's just good to kind of get a sense of the larger scope. What about even a smaller radius? What's happening? There's no harm in looking around at what's happening. So we still have this one high rent that's skewing the data to the up, because I know this area. And although Hampton, I've been on the street before, is actually a nice street, surprisingly, for this area right here. It is a nice street. If you go one street over, and I think it's Mount Auburn or Auburn, something like this, that street is terrible, okay? And so from one street to the next, you can have a radical difference. And so I would definitely consider 1100 to be the top side of what you'd expect a single family 3-bedroom in this area to do, even though it has a proximity to University Circle, but it's north of crap, I forget what this street is called, but nonetheless, up front, let's just use 1100 a month as a rental income for this 1.5 property. How do the numbers flush out? So you just did a beautiful renovation. You put $40,000, $50,000 into it. You're into it for like total $75,000, and you're bringing in 1,100 a month. 1,100 a month, 12 months a year, and we're in Cleveland. We're inner city, like the proper city of Cleveland. We can use that 55% rule. Normally use a 50%, but in Cleveland, we're buying so cheap on this property that for sure we're going to keep our taxes low by appealing the taxes. If they're being assessed for more than 25,000, for sure we're going to appeal and keep those taxes very low. So we're making $7,260 a year of net income if we bought this cash. And if we're into it for 20,000 plus 40 of renovation, we're into it for 65,000. We see that this is an 11.2 cap rate, 11.2% return on our capital if we bought it cash. So that's the second piece of the golden rule. Are we buying cash flow? Are we buying with a good return on our money? The return on our money for this deal is going to be in the 11% range. So are we buying at a discount? Doesn't look like very much. Sure, we can negotiate the deal maybe down to 20,000 or 15,000, which gives a little bit more of a spread, but are we buying at a 30% discount? Very unlikely here. And then there's the renovation that we need to put into it. And then are we buying cash flow? Yes, I think we are buying cash flow here. We're above a 10 cap, very respectable, especially for a single family home to hit the double-digit cap rates. That's pretty good. So deal or no deal, right? Deal or no deal. Is this something that's worthwhile exploring further, putting in an offer, seeing if it's something that would be of interest? All right. We have one thumbs up that it is a deal. Who else has some comments? We have some meh in the chat here, and that's perfectly fine. We got more thumbs up, but ultimately, this is where we stand. We stand at buying pretty close to its value, buying some, I think, at a good cap rate. I think we're buying a project. This is going to take 3 months. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of big pieces that need to be done. Like, yes, if your teams were right on point and everything was good, you can probably hammer this out in 6 weeks. But if it's your first deal in Cleveland and you're building your teams, expect a 3 months on this. Just, growing pains. Julie says deal as well. Beautiful, excellent. And so that's what's happening. The bigger part is the area here. So this happens to be a street that I've driven before. It's just a little quaint street that I would say is a C plus in a C minus area, or even a D plus area. that street and these two streets right next door are not pretty, really not pretty. You still have boarded up properties. You have, obviously this one's a boarded up property, right? But the street it's on, it's pretty decent for being in the quote unquote hood. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. But deal reveal, we look at the golden rule of real estate. We don't ask ourselves a million questions. This is not the time to dive into a deep due diligence. We're just pitting this property up against the golden rule. Are we buying at a discount? Are we buying cash flow? And figuring out how big of a project it is along the way. Once it's under contract and you have an accepted offer, that's the time where you're going to bring in management to walk the property, to walk the area. You're going to send out contractors to get quotes, and you're ultimately going to dive deep into the numbers to make sure that this quick assessment that we did is still accurate once we've compiled all the information for the deal. So that is this week's deal reveal. So hopefully you liked it. The big one here is, are you wanting to do a $40,000, $50,000 renovation project? That would be my biggest deal-breaking criteria here. If no, well, your rehab's not going to get smaller than that. If you're looking to, if you don't mind getting into that larger renovation, well, start your negotiation. There's no harm in saying you're under 20,000 to get this deal done cash and see where it goes from there. And maybe you pick it up for 15,000. Maybe there's some back taxes on the property that you can pick up along the way to keep that price point as low as possible, so you don't even have to bring $20,000 to the table to do this deal. The renovation is a different story, right? Either you do it cash or you get a renovation loan, but ultimately, the less money you have out of pocket to get in on the front end, knowing that your back end value is there, which again, we'll have to confirm with an appraisal before you actually buy the property to really dial in. Is it 70,000 like I'm expecting, or is it really 60 or 50,000, or maybe it's 90 after it's all said and done? This is something that right now we're just using the data that's available and our current knowledge of the market to just take that first step, enter into the negotiation to ultimately enter into that real due diligence period once the property is under contract and you have an accepted written offer with the seller. So if this information and this system, this blueprint, this process, you see value and you'd like to learn more, we have an epic blueprint, if you've not already attended, where we go for 4 days through the process, through the weeds, and we bring the power team members to you, like the attorney that sets up your entity, like a realtor you might want to have contact with, like a loan broker to help you get financing on acquisition or renovation for these deals. We have the epic blueprint built for you. We have done this for over 5 years now. My good Lord, 5 or 6 years. We've been perfecting our blueprint, and now it's literally become epic. And so if you're interested, either virtually or in person with us live in Florida, it's going to be in early October, and you can reserve your spot, n4t.club/blueprint, right? RSVP either virtually, right? We'll broadcast it, and you can take the training from home, or come see us live and experience the whole community in person at n4t.club/blueprint. And we also have our bus tour component built into that epic blueprint, where we tour properties. We go see properties with our real feet, our real legs, and our real eyes, so that we can touch, feel, and smell these properties all at the same time. n4t.club/blueprint. That's what we have for you. I hope you enjoyed. That's the deal reveal. Julie is interested. That's fantastic. Just reach out to us, either directly RSVP on the link, or send us an email at info@nowfortomorrow.club. You're very, very welcome, Sukhvinder, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Have a great day. Do now for tomorrow.